Okay, so today I just want to give you a quick demonstration on how easy and useful it is to use Plant Replay created by Tamaki Control for inductive automations ignition. You can see that this version is compatible with 7.9.0 later. So once you have it downloaded, you can add it to ignition on the module page. Simply scroll to the bottom and install or upgrade a module. Once you have it added, you should in your component palette see an area for Plant Replay, which contain a controller and a time slider and some replay controls. So there's a couple of things to note before you start. The first is that all your tags should be stored to history. So you can see I'm storing it to the history writer historian, and also in your project you want your default database set to the same database that you're going to be storing the history for the tags. So once you have that set up, you can begin building plant replayable screens. So you can see that I have a small plant set up here. So what I have is I have a tank level that's filling and emptying. It empties till it's about 20% and it fills to about 90%. And it's just continuing that cycle. You can see that at some point in time the tank overflows. We have 100 here. Our guess is that maybe our empty tank, empty pump didn't turn on, there was a fault, or maybe there was a fault in our fill and it just kept filling, or maybe there was a fault in our sensor. It's hard to really tell from here. So what I hope to do is build a plant replayable screen that may be able to go back in time, play what happened at this period and see exactly what caused the problem. So the first thing that I need to do is create a plant replay control system. So what I've done is I brought out a toggle button, and on the toggle button I've bound a tag. It's a client tag called replay mode. So it's a boolean tag, and you just drag it on and just bind it to that toggle button. The next thing I've done is I brought out a drop down box with our calendar. So this allows us to select which time we want replay to start from. And this is bound to our replay time. Our time slider again is bound to our replay time, and then we've got this timer. And this timer, all this timer is really going to do is it's going to look at our time here. It's going to read a tag. It's going to add 1 second and increment this by 1 second. So all that's going to do is instead of me having to manually drag this across, what it'll do is it will increment by 1 second and let the plant play out as it did in 1 second increments. For that, there is just a small script which I've put in already. So I'll just read the client tag replay time. I then add 1 second to it, put it into a new variable, and then write that variable back to the client tag. So straightforward enough. And what I've done is I have bound the replay mode to the running of that timer. So the next thing to do then is to create some templates. So on our project browser, you can see that I have some templates for our indicator and pump. That's just to save time. But what I'll do is I will create the tank and the chart, and you can see how they're done. They're all created in pretty much the same way. So if you right click on templates and click on new template, the first thing you want to do is you want to add your tag. So this is going to dynamically add tags to our templates. So this is our string tag. And the next thing we want to do then is we want to add an internal property called replay mode. And this is going to tell us when we're in replay mode or not. So click OK. And then we bind our client tag replay mode to our internal property. Okay, and that's all we need to do so far. The next thing to do is to bring in the replay controller. And we can set that up pretty easily. So the replay mode client tag is bound to the enable property. The replay time client tag is bound to the replay time property. Then on our tag pins, we just click on this little magnifying glass. And the first thing we want to do is we want to add where we're going to store our history tag. So I'm going to call this history. Our tank is of type float. And click OK. You'll notice that I didn't enter anything in the tag path. But if you click on this database icon here and go to cell update, you can dynamically now add your tag from this tag path parameter we created earlier, and click OK. The next thing to do is just to bring in our item, so it's a tank in this case. Okay, and click on it and go to value, and we just need to write a little expression, and all we're doing is we're going to look at replay mode, and if it is in replay mode we are going to look at the history tag that we created, and if it's not, we are just going to read the tag as it is. Okay, and that's it, and I should really rename my tag, or my template, sorry, to tank. Okay, and that's it, that's our tank set up. And then it's something similar for our chart, so I will just copy and paste, rename, call this chart, make sure I'm on it, delete out our tank. I will now bring in our easy chart. Okay, so we've got a couple of different modes in the chart. We've got a manual, historical, and real time. So what we'll do is we'll write an expression, and again we will look at our replay mode, and if it's in replay mode we want historical, and if it's not in replay mode we want real time, and we click OK. The next thing we want to do is we want to have a look at the time. So if you scroll down to the end date, and what I'll do is I'll bind the tag replay time to this, and then for the start date, what I'm going to do for this demonstration is just maybe look at 10 minutes before the end date, so it'll be a 10-minute window that we're looking at. To do that, again, it's an expression. If you go into date and time, you'll see there's this function called add minutes. I'll then look at the chart end date, and I will subtract 10 minutes from it. Okay, and that's our chart all set up. Okay, so the next thing we can do is just drag out our templates just to create the same screen as there. So I'll bring out my chart first, then bring out my tank, bring out my filling indicator, my emptying indicator, my fill pump, and my empty pump. Okay, and then all we need to do is we need to add our tags to that template parameter that we created earlier called tag path. So to do that, if you click on the template, right click on the tag you want, in this case it's level, copy tag path and paste, and then just repeat that then for the various different templates. So empty motor, copy tag path, so empty. Okay, and that's it. So if we want to see what happened, say here 12 o'clock at this point here, and see why this tank has actually overflowed, what we can do is we can go into replay mode, and you can see automatically that this has gone into replay mode. And if we go back to today, and if we go back to, say, let's try to get back to this point here, so about 10 past 11. So you can see here, 2 minutes past, everything looks like it was running as normal. Just to quicken it up, I'm just bringing the slider up. So it's in auto, it's filling. And the tank was put into manual mode. So once it's in manual mode, it was going to fill and keep filling because the pump is not going to turn off. And from there, we can quite easily see why now we overflowed. We don't have to speculate if it was an error of the pumps, the level transmitter, or anything like that. We can quite clearly see that an operator put it in manual while it was filling and just forgot to turn it off. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions at all, check out our website or contact us at Tamic Control, and we'll be more than happy to help. Thank you.